welcome to episode 63 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Shawnee G. Sean Galbraith. Sean, how you doing, and what you been up to since our last episode, my friend? I wasn't there, obviously, for anybody that did watch it, but excellent solo episode, my friend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robbie Holden. I had a lot of fun listening to Chris Thompson speak on that last episode and asking approximately 1.5 questions that lasted somehow an hour interview time. It was great chatting with him, and it was fun to speed run through this episode and see how much more efficient we can be when neither of you are also on the show. What I've been up to. Let's see. Last week played a couple events. One out Bronte came in last place, of course, and then the more fun one, the Chains for Change event out at Eastview. This was the fundraiser for queer disc golf. And it was a blast. We had a great time. The wind was ripping, as you know, at Eastview. That can lead to some fun chaos golf, and it was definitely that. Had a great time. Wife Gabby and I played as a team, and we had a hell of a lot of fun. How about you? What have you been up to?
I have not been up to a lot of disc golf, although I did finally make my tournament comeback, as I've been the last month or so been off nursing some tennis elbow. So I got back onto the course, but the weekend before that, it was my stepbrother's birthday, so we all went down. And his wife had set up the backyard with looked like 90s style, like the prequel era Star Wars type decorations. It was all Star Wars themed. And then of course the Mandalorian and Grogu stuff in there as well. And then we all went out and saw the movie afterwards, which was awesome. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Star Wars fan. There's literally, if you're watching on screen right now, this is a lightsaber that I'm pointing to right beside me. It's just right there. Massive Star Wars fan. So that was a blast and always a good time. Just hanging out with family. And then this past weekend, I played in the Dreamaker Open, which is always an absolute blast. One of my favorite tournaments of the year. I missed out last year to go up to Gap's Gambit for the first time and check out the courses in Sault Ste. Marie. So it was great to finally be back on the course. My elbow held up pretty darn good during the first round. I bought a new brace that kind of attaches like just below the elbow and takes all of the pressure off the elbow and just kind of squeezes on the forearm. That seemed to help. I mean, I didn't really notice anything, but obviously the fact that I wasn't in pain afterwards means that it was helping something. But then Sunday morning, I woke up and felt fine, but then was crouching around to get out of my tent to go take a morning leak, and something just absolutely seized up in my neck, and could barely turn left or right. It is still very sore. 3 days later, this is now Tuesday that we are recording, and this happened on Sunday. So I left the campsite, went to Shoppers Drug Mart, got some Rub A535 and some pain meds, and luckily my tea time was a little bit later, so I had some time to try and kind of work it out and stretch it out. But nothing was working, so unfortunately DNF'd, dropped out of the last round. But hopefully that is just something minor and won't be something that makes me miss any more tournaments. And the fact that my elbow held up was the bigger worry for me. So all good news there. Unfortunate to have to drop out, but still got to camp out Saturday night with everybody, which, Sean, as someone that has been to Dreamaker numerous times, is always a blast with everybody out camping out there. Thomas Gilbert was the last minute sign up for the tournament, and when he's out there, as usual, he was throwing bombs across the pond in the campground, just blowing everybody's minds. So
I think I saw like 550-foot water skip shots from him.
Yeah, he almost took me out with one of them, which I actually just saw a video of a different angle of it that Alex from Guelph posted. And it actually skipped off the water, then came up and rolled like right by the picnic table as I was setting up my tent. And I kind of looked back like, hey, what's going on back there? Um, but it always a blast out at Dreamaker, and it's always fun getting everybody just cheering while Thomas is just unleashing bombs across. I know Calvin Rorto was tossing some too, Ryan McWaters. I don't know if they actually cleared the pond, but got pretty close. So there's some bombers out there, but the Big Maple is on a whole other level when it comes to distance especially in Ontario. But that's all that I've been up to really. So but there was so many tournaments over the last 2 weeks since we have last had a show, and we are actually not going to have an interview this week. We are just gonna be Shawnee G and Robbie this week. World's worst superhero duo, Shawnee G and Robbie. Shawnee G and the roller coaster. That's the title of the comic book run for us. And spoiler alert, it does not go well for the heroes. But so we've got no interview, so we're just gonna jump right into our usual recaps and Ontario news and all that good stuff. And starting with a little bit of Ontario news, a Team Canada shop for raising funds to help the team go over to help me with this, Shawnee G. Where is the World Championship?
Lithuania.
Lithuania. So some absolutely awesome merch. The Canada Disc Golf logo with the maple leaf and the chains going through it just looks so cool. They've got, I know I saw a dry fit t-shirt on there, and there was some hoodies, neck warmer, there's patches that you can get. So this is all raising funds for the WFDF Team Disc Golf Championships, which will be sent. Team Canada will be heading out to. I don't know if you know when that is off the top of your head either, Shawnee G. I don't know. I don't know any of this information. Shawnee G will look that up. But later this year, Team Canada will be heading out to Lithuania to compete and looking to take down a medal. So if you want to support the team and want to pick up some sweet merch, you can go to candisc.myshopify.com. That's candisc, candisc.myshopify.com to find that stuff there.
That event is going down in Vilnius, Lithuania, September 8th through 12th. Because we definitely have some local players who are be going out to that. They're going to have a great time. This will help support them. And if you remember the last one of these events down in Perth, Australia, resulted in the unfortunate chain out from Stuart McKissick from Team Canada. That the video of which went a little disc golf viral. Hopefully, we don't have that happen this time, and the team can take home the hardware.
That video of Stuart will still just periodically pop up in my social media from time to time. Somebody else reposting it or re-editing it in some sort of way. It'll just pop up on my thing. It just breaks my heart over and over again every time that I see it. But Team Canada will be coming for revenge in early September, like Shawnee G said. So once again, candiscgolf.myshopify.com to find some of that merch if you would like to support. And like I said, it looks awesome. So I'm a hoodie guy, so I think I will be picking up a hoodie from there. I know that the dry fit jersey looks really awesome as well. Some really good options on there. Get a good patch for your bag as well, and represent and show your support that way. So candiscgolf.myshopify.com to support there. It's also ratings update day as we are recording right now. And before I go into what I was going to bring up, which is just a little bit of top 10 rated players in Canada right now, Shawnee G, how did you do on ratings day?
I am continuing my downward trend in ratings. Let's see here. I am down 4, and I believe last month I was down 7, so I've lost 11 ratings points in 2 months. I continue to not be a very good disc golfer, and I'm just going to assume that it's because I'm now playing largely in Pro 50. We'll just go with that and not
Yeah,
attribute it to any lack of skill, which is
of course.
more likely the case.
I am much like my actual disc golf right now. I am just stagnant. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go up. I didn't go down. I stayed exactly the same. There was some rounds that got added. So it's not like I just stayed the same because there was no rounds added or dropped. I just stayed the same because that's where I am. I might just be a 945 rated guy. I might have just found my might have just found my home, and that's where I'll stay for a while. But we had some updates, of course, for other players as well. And current top 10. Well, one thing, there are currently 12 players in Canada that are 1,000 rated or above. Friend of the show, Cam Zanini, the poor guy, got 999 again. This is like the 10th different time that he's had a ratings update take him to 999, and not just that 1 point higher into 1,000. I saw him make a story about that, saying like, I don't know how this makes any sense. I know he's had some good rounds lately too, so I think that would have bumped up. But current top 10 in Canada, we have Thomas Gilbert still up at the top at 1022 rated. Chris O'Zolins takes over, I believe takes over. I don't think he was in number 2 before, but takes over the number 2 spot, 1016 rated, 1 point higher than Marty Hendel, who still is top 3 in Canada at 1015. We then have Justin De Silva at 1012. Eric Weeb at 1010, Noah Higgins at 1010. This is Matt Dixon, I believe. Yeah, Matt Dixon at 1,008. He had a big jump, went plus 13 on this ratings update to get to 1,008 rated. So really well done there. Max Regitnig at 1,008 as well. Connell McLeod at 1,007. And Casey Hannemeyer at 1,003 rounds out the top 10. And we'll just shout them out. The other 2,000 plus rated pros in Canada, newly 1,000 rated for the first time. Jake Voskamp is sitting at 1,002 now. And at 1,001 rated is Daniel Sisson from Vancouver, British Columbia, rounds out the 12 players that are 1,000 plus rated in Canada. So well done to everybody there. And hopefully, if you're listening, you had a good ratings update day as well. Let us know in the comments how ratings update day went for you. Who has the biggest roller coaster moment, biggest swing, either up or down? Let us know. Of course, I'm always down to hear about some roller coasters from people. And over on the FPO side for highest rated Canadians right now, Sophia Dunica holds the top spot at 964 rated. Rebecca Dawn just went up 5 points to now hit a career high 960 rated, I believe career high. Let me just double check that real fast. Shawnee G is giving me the head nod. Yes, a career high for Rebecca. So amazing job there. Chantel Badinsky in third at 955 rated. Colleen McInnes at 934. And Karen Martell rounds out the top 5 at 924 as well. And then we have Christy Lee at 923, Alicia Hums 921, Joe Henderson at 915, Sandy Hendel still kicking at 908. And how many names is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And to round out the top 10, we have, I'm going to have to open this one. What's the first name? Starts with a Z, I'm guessing Zoe. It is Zoe Lorenz Bosser at 907 rated. That is the top 10 on the FPO side as well. And you know what? We'll just round it out. Every 900 plus rated player that has played FPO this season also includes Kat Johnson at 906, Alex Paletto at 905, and former club teammate of myself in Guelph, now living out on the West Coast, Allison Radich, also Cardinal teammate with me. You can see my Cardinal jersey here. Getting the 4-point rating bump to 901 rated. So that gives us, what is that? 13 ladies, 900 plus rated in Canada. Absolutely awesome to see. The talent keeps getting better and better coast to coast here. And especially, we have seen that locally as we will jump into some registrations coming up.
Robbie, it is shocking. Somehow there is only a single registration opening up in the next 2 weeks, and that is for an event going down on the Thanksgiving long weekend in October 10th and 11th. That is Flingsgiving, the annual tournament out at Foxwood. That is always a good time. Registration for that opens today, which is June 11th, the day that we're releasing this episode. So definitely you want to check that out. And that's it. That's it for new ones. There will be more as we go, and they sort of they jump into the disc golf scene every once in a while, and sometimes you miss them, but we hope we don't. But want to highlight another tournament that registration is open, and it could use a couple more players for sure. That is the Twin Stacks Open going down in Sudbury. This is the last provincial qualifier of the year, and for pros, there is a huge $4,000 added cash and $1,000 added value for AMs. This, like, it's basically a tier level tournament, even though it's even though it's a B tier event. Like, if you're playing in the pro division, like, there is money to be had. Go up and get it. This is happening on the Labor Day long weekend, and the rounds are on the Saturday and Sunday. So, like, you can easily make it home on the Monday. I signed up to play. I'm going to be playing just down in AM50, I think, for this one. And you might want to give this one a look, especially if you're looking for a provincial spot, or if you want to snag some points for your club. Your odds are going to be really good for both of those. I think right now there's just under 50 players signed up, and they got lots of room because they're currently using tee times. That could change to a shotgun start depending on registration. But yeah, check it out. Twin Stacks Open. This is the second year, I think, they are doing this event, and hopefully they can continue and they can get some numbers. And like I said, big added cash up for grabs up there.
Yeah, second year they are running that tournament. They're running it at a much better time this time around, because last year they ran it in November up in Sudbury, and the weather was what you would expect from Sudbury in November. So this year, Labor Day weekend, much better timing. Fantastic time to be up in that area, honestly. And that is one that I will be signing up for. I'm not officially signed up yet, but I will be signing up for that. Hopefully I'm qualified for provincials at that point, but if not, then that will be a great last minute chance to get into provincials. But speaking of Sudbury, we're going to move on to our recaps and start in beautiful Sudbury, Ontario, with a new amateur-only tournament on the schedule for 2026. But in typical Sudbury fashion, it had a berry-inspired name going along with the Blueberry Brawl. But this one, the Raspberry Rumble, which saw 47 players across 10 divisions battling it out over 3 rounds. The event offered players a preview of what to expect at the upcoming Blueberry Brawl. Of course, the fruit-themed tournaments out in Sudbury. Blueberry Brawl is one of the best tournaments in the province. In MA1, Solstice Summers shot an incredible 61 points above their rating with a 971 rated event, highlighted by a 991 rated -5 in round 1, and cruised to a 12-stroke win over Dean Alick, with Shane Rogers rounding out the podium in third. This is Solstice's 4th win in 7 tournaments. Impressive win percentage. In MA40, Mike Jonkus, sorry if I am mispronouncing your last name, Brian Clark, and Maurice Latorelle were tied with 3 holes to go. On the 16th hole, Maurice took a bogey, and that was it for him. Brian and Mike parred the 16th and 17th and were tied going into the final hole, where Mike bagged a birdie to Brian's par and took down the win, the very first win of his career. In the female divisions, there were three solo winners. I think I was even saying that right, so I don't know why I stumbled on the word. That was weird. Lindsay Pattinson in FA40, Chelsea Pike in FA2, and Shani Cornelise. I am terrible at names. I apologize. In FA3, all getting the wins done there. Amazing job. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some of your thoughts coming out of the Raspberry Rumble.
We had an ace to shout out in MJ12. Love this junior division ace, Finn Eide, Eide. I don't know how to pronounce it. Eide. I apologize as well. I am also terrible with names. Finn bagged 168 hole 17 ace. Fantastic. Absolutely love that. We don't get a lot of junior aces on the show, and we love seeing those. First, or I don't know if it's the first, but it is one of many, I am sure, that will be in his career. We had a couple close battles that were won by only a single stroke. Robbie mentioned the first one with Mike Jonkis over Brian Clark in MA40, and we had a second one in MA2. Wesley Miller finished first over Travis Fisher Quinn. We just love those close battles, and well done, guys, for those performances.
And I guess it would help if I unmuted myself before I try to talk. I was going to say big shout out to Dean as well, who, like I mentioned, took down second place, I believe is what I said. Yeah, second place in MA1. And of course, we'll be TDing the Blueberry Brawl later this summer. So Dean obviously knows that course really well. And unfortunately, I'll be missing the Blueberry Brawl this year. Yeah, always another great tournament. And this one seemed like another good one in Sudbury as well. Moving on to the next stop of the 2026 Ontario Tour, we head to Port Hope and the always amazing Hope Goat Disc Golf Course for a spring thing, a PDGA B tier, which saw 123 players across 17 divisions looking to qualify for provincials. In FPO, Kat Johnson takes down the win as the only competitor in the division, but does so by averaging 45 points above her rating, including an amazing 963 rated +2 in round one. Awesome job, Kat. In MPO, Jake Voskamp and Garrett Morgan shot 996 rated +2 rounds to open things up, sharing a one-stroke lead over James Atkinson and Ryan McWater, with Ryan McWaters only two back of the lead. But in the final round, while most of the division had some struggles, Jake was able to shoot a 994 rated +1 to take down the win by 3 strokes, with William Murphy Gelderman also shooting a +1 to jump 3 spots into second, and Garrett rounds out the podium in third. In FP40, Bon Bon shot 50 points above her rating to take a 3-stroke lead over Jane Logan after the first round. And in the final round, both players would shoot +9 rounds, giving Bon Bon the 3-stroke win, her first ever pro win. Amazing job there, Bon Bon. In MP40, Scott Jameson and Mike Kostenko both shot 983 rated +4s in the opening round to take a 1-stroke lead over Luke Johnson. And while Mike was able to shoot a solid 974 rated +2 in the final round, Scotty J ran away from the division with a 1008 rated -3, the hot round of the tournament, to take down the win by 5 strokes, his first win of the season, with Mike finishing in second and Luke finishing tied with Daryl Nantis for third. In the top amateur divisions, Haley Brown took an 8-stroke lead into the final round in FA1, but kept her foot on the gas and would go on to a dominant 20-stroke win, her very first PDGA win. And in MA1, Mark Baldwin and Michael Walters both shot a 963 rated +2 in the opening round to take a one-stroke lead over Miles Ladder into the final round. And in that final round, Mark would fall off the pace and finish in fourth, while Jared Linthorn shot the hot round of +3 to jump into third. And Miles would go into the final hole with a one-stroke lead, but a bogey would send things to a playoff against Michael. But Miles was able to clutch up and take down the win, his second win in 2 events so far in 2026. Perfect on the win percentage. And I will say that both of those wins have come since he has added a missed Mando patch to his bag. Coincidence? I think not. I think not. Shawnee G, let's send it over to you for some of your thoughts coming out of a spring thing at Hoko.
Not surprising with Haute Goat, there were no aces to shout out. That is not an easy course to bag them. But we had a couple close battles. MA50 was decided by a single stroke with Ken Lang beating Cam Collier. It took an amazing -5 in round 2 from Ken to take it down. Well done there. And in MA70, the Paul LePage versus Edwin Gallett's battle continues. This time, it was Paul who took it down by a single stroke. These guys are always at the top of the MA70 division, battling it out, and we'd love to see it. Well done, guys.
Yes, congrats to everybody out there. Some amazing battles, and always a good time at Hope Goat for a tournament. Next, we head to Tottenham, Ontario for the Tottenham Open, a TD Academy event hosted by tournament director Jeff Noseworthy, which saw 71 total players across 7 total divisions, FA1, and 3+5 ratings-based divisions. In the blue division, Dale Semple shot an impressive 1,001 rated -8 to take a one-stroke lead over Adam Shepperley. But in the final round, Adam was able to shoot a 975 rated -3 to Dale's even par to pull off the come-from-behind win, with Scott Watson rounding out the podium in third. In the white division, Wesley Watto Watt, Sandy Nottingham, and Paul Sobalski were tied for the lead at -5 after the first round. And after a hard-fought battle in round 2, it was Paul taking down the win by a single stroke over Watto, with Angus Crosan jumping up into third. In FA1, Alyssa Saunders and Sarah Skates were deadlocked at +5 after the first round. But in the final round, Alyssa was able to heat up and shoot a 955 rated -1 to cruise to a 13-stroke victory. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some of your thoughts coming out of the Tottenham Open.
First, not only did Alyssa Saunders, a friend of the show, win the event, but she bagged an ace as well. She got it on hole 11, a 209-foot shot. I'm not super familiar with Tottenham. I haven't played it in a couple years. So I don't know what that hole is, but I am sure it is impressive as hell. In close battles, the green division, round 2 ended in a tie between Alan Walker and Tony Henderson. I don't know how many playoff holes it took, but in the end, it was Alan who took it down for the win. Well done to all the players. Well done, new TDs. I love seeing these events where they graduate from the TD Academy, putting on an event. Really, really well done. Absolutely love it. Congratulations. Keep up the good work and keep making more events for Ontario players to play. It's not like we don't have enough of them, but we can always use more.
We can certainly always use more, and yes, big shout out to everybody taking place in these in the TD Academy, starting to run tournaments for the first time. We were joined, of course, by Alyssa Saunders earlier in the year, and she talked about her tournament that she was running out in Niagara Falls. And now Jeff, and I forget who is going to be the tournament director, but I believe on our next episode we will be recapping another TD Academy event, that one going down in Sudbury. I believe it's called the Sudbury Smash and Dash, which is an awesome name for a tournament as well. So loving to see these pop up and more people start to dip their toes into being tournament directors instead of just players. Really awesome to see. And I think we talked about when we had Alyssa on. something that I would definitely like to do as well. I know that it is a blast putting on our Miss Mando Mayhem tournaments, although that is 90% Sean is doing that. But it would be awesome to run a actual PDGA sanctioned event at some point. I know that is something I would absolutely love to do. So something that I will do at some point for sure. All right, we head next to Southampton, Ontario for a tournament that's become a favorite of many every year, including myself, the Dreamaker Open, which once again saw a packed field of 183 total players across 19 divisions, with a lot of the players completely packing the Dreamaker campground for the weekend. In FPO, Anna Olin gets the solo win at the as the only competitor in the field, shooting 40 points above her rating in the first round. Amazing job there. While over in MPO, Thomas Gilbert shot a 1,002 rated opening round to take a 2-stroke lead over Calvin Rorda and Ryan McWaters. But in the final round, Thomas was able to pull away from the division with a 10-27 rated -6, taking down the win by 6 strokes over Calvin, with Rich Van Murick and Scotty Jameson finishing in a tie for third. In MP40, Nathan Kay shot an impressive 10-11 rated -4 in round 1 to take a 3-stroke lead over Ryan McFarlane. A lot of Ryan MCs in this recap. And in the final round, he was able to keep his foot on the gas with a 981 rated -1 to cruise to a 7-stroke win over Ryan, with Justin Murphy finishing in third. In the top amateur divisions, Brooklyn Okrafka opened the tournament with a 920 rated even par to take a 8-stroke lead over Lauren Williams. And she was able to increase that lead in the final round into a 19-stroke win over Sarah Skates, with Lauren rounding out the podium in third. And in MA1, Jeremy Stevens shot a 984 rated -1 in the opening round to take a 1-stroke lead over Aiden Weeb and Dale Semple, another stroke back in third. And in the final round, Jeremy was able to stay steady with a 981 rated -1 to take the win by 2 strokes, with Austin Hill shooting a 990 rated -2 to jump into a tie for second with Dale. Amazing job there. And before I send it over to you, Shawnee G, I just want to give an extra shout out to my buddy Austin. This was his first MA1 tournament. He rated out of MA2 at, I believe he is 13 years old. Rated out of MA2, so he had to jump up to MA1. I got to play with him in the first round, had a blast. He played great, got onto the lead card for the second round, and shoots the hot round, 990 rated, to finish in a tie for second place in his very first MA1 event. So amazing job, Austin. It is scary how good you have gotten in the time that I've seen you grow over the last few years, and it's incredibly impressive to watch. So keep getting better even quicker so you can move on to MPO and you don't have to kick my ass in MA1 that much longer, please. And thank you. Shawnee G, I will throw it over to you now for some of your thoughts coming out of Dreamaker.
Austin really is an impressive young disc golfer. How far he has come in a very short amount of time is simply remarkable. We had it was an ace fest all up in Dreamaker. There were 5 aces to shout out. We got Richard Van Morick in MPO bagged the ace on the 273-foot hole 13 blue. Ian Brooks, Mr. Prodigy, he got hole 17 white, 205 foot. He's an MA50. MA2's Dave Pringle got hole 8 white, which was 255 feet. MA3's Luke White got hole 4 red at 194 feet. Is that the one that's like it's like around the corner, I think? That's a nice one to get. That's a nice one to get.
That would be hole 5 that you're thinking
of. Was it 5? Was 4?
I think.
I don't remember which one 4 is.
2, 3. Yeah, 4 is, at least I played the blue layout. But from the blue layout, it's just kind of a simple hyzer. up the
That
path. It kind of follows
we're
the path up to that one that you're thinking that goes around the corner up the hill.
No, I'm not thinking that. We are thinking the same one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, not the up the hill one. Yeah, that's a sweet little ace.
Yeah, that was
Um,
awesome.
and Sarah Fairhall in FA3 got hole 17 red, 155-foot shot. Fantastic. So many aces. I don't think everybody was in the ace spot, so not everybody got paid out, but those who did,
Yes.
thank you for your service. We had a couple close battles. MA50 Mark McQuillan beat Liam Jewell by a stroke, and an MA3 Justin Gear beat Mateo Hill, another young rising star in a playoff. Such a fantastic tournament. Bummed I wasn't able to make it up there this year for would have been my, I don't know, fourth time, something like that. Yeah, a good time, of course, was had by all. It continues to be one of, I would say, the most fun tournaments of the calendar season. And it continues to be, hopefully, a not miss event. And hopefully, we're going to not miss it next year.
Yeah, definitely a must-attend event in the Ontario disc golf calendar every year. Just everybody camping out together. You finish your round, and especially on the Saturday, because everybody's camping out Saturday night, so everybody's hanging out, walking around the fire. I mean, that's what I did Saturday night was we were kind of hanging around our campsite for a bit, and then we just kind of walked around and checked in on different people at different campsites, and we're just hanging out. I actually finally after only 3 years of doing a podcast with him, finally got to meet our long lost co-host Galen's family. I got to meet Brenna and Cleo and their dog Indy as well, which was awesome. So I was sitting around the fire with them for a bit, just hanging out, and joking that it only took this long of doing a podcast with Galen for me to finally actually meet his fam jam, but that was great, and got to hang out with a lot of other people just hanging around the fire. So definitely, if you've never made it out to a Dreamaker Open, I highly recommend. And if you can, get a campsite, because the vibes on that campsite with everybody there together are just off the charts. Moving on now, our next tournament takes us to Bronte Creek for the next stop on the 2026 Ontario Tour. Bronte and the Beast, a B tier which saw 65 players across 8 divisions, tackling 3 rounds over 2 days. In FPO, Chantel Badinsky held a 2-stroke lead after the first round and increased that to a 4-stroke lead over Colleen McInnes after round 2. But in the final round, Colleen was able to shoot a 967 rated even par compared to a +6 from Chantel to pull off the come-from-behind 2-stroke win. Amazing job there. In MPO, Chris O'Zollins was out defending his home turf, holding a 2-stroke lead over Thomas Hums after round 1, a 5-stroke lead over Jake Voskamp after round 2, and with a final round 1034 rated -8, he would take down the win by 6 strokes over Jake, with Cam Zanini rounding out the podium in third. In FP40, Jane Logan averaged 52 points over her rating across all 3 rounds to cruise to a 26-stroke win over Lisa Ashley. While in MP40, a playoff was needed as Greg Grutenboer and Brady Belanger were tied at +3 after 3 rounds of play. And it only took one playoff hole for Greg to take down the win over Brady, with Craig Ireland finishing in third. In the top amateur divisions, Amanda Wright takes down the solo win in FA1 as the only competitor in the field, while in MA1, Alejandro Diaz-Yana continues his hot play of late, averaging 979 across 3 rounds, 23 points above his rating, and cruises to a 9-stroke win, his second straight win after the dismantling he put on the MA1 field at the Black Fly Fling, which we talked about on the last show. Shawnee G, let's go over to some of your thoughts coming out of Bronte and the Beast.
Not surprising for this layout, there were no aces going down at Bronte. There were also No close battles. Everything was won by at least a couple strokes, so nothing really to shout out there. However, for the second show in a row, my youthful co-host has once again neglected to write a script for a Legends tournament. This time, the Bronte Legends, which happened 2 days before the Beast. This neglect of his elders would be shocking if it was not entirely to be expected at this point. The Bronte Legend saw 78 players across 3 pro and 6 am divisions, with divisions playing the harder red basket for layout for 2 rounds. MP50, well known as the crown jewel of competitive disc golf in this province, saw 4 players duking it out for the cash. In the end, Jeremy Reddy outlasted Simon Shaw and won by 2 strokes, and yours truly finished an extremely distant 4th place, nowhere near threatening cash. In MP50, White Spruce's Susan Avery made her pro debut and took down the solo win in that division. The other division winners were George Jensen in MP60, Dennis Barnes in MA40, Gregory Lang in MA50 after I think it was like a 3 or 4 hole playoff, Tamara Woodrick in FA50, John McLeod in MA60, the pride of White Spruce and eventual future Miss Mando guest Jane Anderson Renton in FA60. And I mentioned that MA70 battle that goes on between Edwin and Paul LePage. That happened again, and this time Edwin Galax emerged victorious over Paul and took down the win in MA70. Completely unprepared. Let's go over to Robbie and for any thoughts on the Bronte Legends, including any apologies for once again neglecting the Legends division.
Yes. Major apologies to all of you elder folk out there. That just slipped through the crack. But I do love this series of Legends events that have popped up. We've seen the 60 and Heiser tour, these Master Division events that pop up during the week, because we got a bunch of retirees and stuff that has got all the time in the world. These old guys. But no, I do love to see that. And they keep getting great attendance. So just awesome to see. I don't really have much more to add beyond that. I definitely am not like Shawnee G, prepared with aces or 1-stroke wins or anything like that. So I think we will just move on at this juncture. And we will head next to Halliburton, Ontario for the 2026 Abbey Gardens Open, a 2-day C-tier event which saw 35 total players across 14 divisions. In MPO, Dan Bauma and McGuire Webster sat in a tie after both shot 939 rated -2s in round 1. And after 13 holes in the final round, both players were still sitting in a tie for the lead. But a bogey by McGuire on 14 and a birdie on 15 by Dan would open up a 2-stroke lead that held for the rest of the round as Dan takes it down for his first career PDGA win in any division. Awesome job there, Dan. One of my favorite card mates that I used to play with all the time in MA1. Now he's got way better than me kicking butt in MPO. In MP50, Daryl Backus shot a 947 rated +1 in the opening round to take a 7-stroke lead over Pete Gaffney. And another +1 in round 2 would take Daryl to a 13-stroke win, running away from the field. Amazing job there. Not many other divisions that or any of the ones that I would normally shout out here. So Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any of your thoughts coming out of Abbey Gardens.
I haven't played the course yet. It is still a bit of it's kind of blind spot in my course played list. I really need to get up there. I've heard nothing but good things about the course. And it looks like it was another fun tournament up there. No aces or close battles on this one went down. So not much for me to add to your wonderful write-up, Robbie.
Wonderful indeed. A little short and quick one there. This was a weekend that had, like, just so everybody knows, Raspberry Rumble, a spring thing, and Tottenham Open were all on the same weekend. And then Dreamaker, Bronte and the Beast, Abbey Gardens, and our next event that we're about to get into were all on the same weekend in Ontario. 4 separate tournaments. And like I mentioned, Bronte had 65 players. Dreamaker had 183 players. And then 35 players here. So many people out playing tournaments across Ontario this past weekend. It was absolutely crazy. But like I mentioned, there was one more tournament to mention in our last recap. It's taken us to the amazing 2-course property of Eddyville Superspin for Eddyville Spring Into It, a C-tier event which saw 42 players across 9 divisions. Another 42. I don't know the quick math on all that, but that's a lot of people across 4 tournaments in Ontario for a weekend. Amazing. Amazing to see. In MP40, David Milks got off to a hot start, shooting a 980 rated -2 to take a 2-stroke lead over Adam Temple. And he stayed strong in the final round with a 978 rated -3 to take the win by 15 strokes over Mario Houle, who jumped up into second. In MP50, Stefan Crump shot a 960 rated -4 to take a 2-stroke lead over Eric Vanette after round 1. But in the final round, the roles were reversed as Eric shot -4 and Stefan shot -2, sending things into a playoff. But in the end, it was Stefan taking down the win. In MA1, Adam Maria shot a 971 rated -1 in the first round to take a 2-stroke lead over Spencer Zollinger. But in the final round, Spencer was able to pull off the comeback, winning by 1 stroke over Adam, with Noah Berube rounding out the podium in third. Shawnee G, I know this is another blind spot for you in terms of courses that you have not played in Ontario, but let's throw it over to you.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just haven't been able to make it out there for a tournament. The super spin event usually is going down in August, and like always seems to be blocked out for my calendar. But I really, really want to make it out there for one of these days, at least just to come out and play a casual round and see what all the amazing hype is about on these 2 fantastic courses.
So worth it.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. It's worth the drive to close to Ottawa. I forget the name of the town that it's in, but yeah, someday I will get there at some point. No aces and no close battles in this tournament. So another short one from me.
Didn't even really need to throw it over to you, did I? Nothing to add.
Now, I really don't add much on this show, so you can just feel free to just keep on going.
No, we saw last week that Shawnee G can handle this whole machine all by himself. No problemo. It is definitely a little strange when I was listening back to it and just hearing you read the script that I wrote instead of me going through it like I normally do. That was definitely just a strange sensation for some reason, going through that. But that is going to do it for our local recaps, and nothing in the general disc golf news world. For all my How I Met Your Mother fans out there, you'll understand that reference. But no general news. So we're going to move over to our Pro Tour recap, and only one to go through. The Northwest Championship, which this year was a combination of what has been the Portland Open and then, of course, the Beaver State Fling at Milo MacIver. I believe Beaver State Fling is still happened or happening as an event, but got moved to a different weekend. And this event turned into a DGPT Plus event with 2 rounds at Milo MacIver and 2 rounds at Glendoveer. Just an unbelievable combination of courses. Got to be one of the best 1-2 punches in terms of courses at a single event on the Pro Tour. And this was a preview for next year's World Championships as well, which will be coming back to the area. In the FPO division, let me just open the scores. This is, of course, one I don't write a script for, but a awesome opening round saw Ellie Ezra Middling, friend of the show, tied with Owen Scoggins at the top of the leaderboard. And then after round 2, Silva Saarinen was there to stay. She held a 2-stroke lead after the second round, a 2-stroke lead after round 3, and in the final round, she ran away from the field, shooting a bogey-free 10-13 rated -10 to win by 5 strokes over Holland, with Ellie Ezra finishing in solo third. I believe that's only her second podium finish at a Elite Series or major event. So amazing job there for Ellie Ezra. And then on the MPO side, man, Gannon Burr is just inevitable. Luke Taylor held a 1-stroke lead after the first round. Eagle McMahon held was tied with Luke after the second round. 1 stroke ahead of Isaac, with Anthony Barella 4 strokes back of the lead. And then after the third round, Eagle was 1 stroke ahead of Isaac, with Gannon 4 shots back of the lead. But you can't count out Gannon, as he birdies, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of his last 9 and 10 of his last 12 holes to pull off a 1-stroke win over Isaac. Eagle finishing in third place. Amazing performance from him there. Love to see Eagle bouncing back up towards the top of a leaderboard. But man, Gannon Burr, 1073 rated final round, a bogey-free 11 under. Absolutely insane. What can be said about Gannon Burr, Shawnee G? The man is just inevitable. Insert Thanos meme here.
He unfortunately is. It's like, I don't like it when he runs away with things. Not a huge Gannon Burr fan. The only advantage when he starts like really running away with things is that I can just do something else on Sunday and I don't need to watch the round. This was not one of those tournaments. This one was exciting as hell to watch. It was fantastic to see the return of Eagle and just tearing it up. It was Eagle in like prime form. It's unfortunate that he kind of fell off at the end there. Isaac had a real good run at it too. Ricky had a real good run. Ricky was interesting. He was in the running, and then he had like 1 OB, and then he was just like mentally out. Like, just, you could just see the Raptor legs just got like cut out from under him, and that was it for him. And then just Gannon just kept doing the friggin' Gannon things where he's just like, I am beep boop robot, and I'm just going to just keep on doing it. Nothing bugs him. Things bug him, like weird wind that you can blame, but he didn't have there was no wind apparently, so he was fine. And he just, I don't know how he does it, just like casually just charging consistently, and you cannot give him a single damn stroke because he will just run you over. It is truly remarkable how dominant he is, and there's really almost no lead that is safe from him when he is on his game. It was also really interesting seeing Isaac's reaction to his nasty chain outs on the new mock baskets. I almost had to wonder if he was now sort of sponsored by DGA, given that he tends to hate whatever basket his manufacturer sponsor makes. This was a Latitude 64 tournaments, but they were the new mock X design baskets, I think. And
I don't know officially what they're called, to be honest, but
I think they're I think it's the Mach X or something
sounds
like that.
right.
Whatever. They're the new Mach design baskets. And he was spitting out and some just it was kind of just like kind of hilarious. He just put it, he'd bend down, he'd wait, stand back up, and disc was on the ground. It was kind of funny. Yeah, what an incredible event. Want to give a shout out, of course, as always, to the Canadians. And first, Rebecca Dawn. She continues to
Dollar
absolutely
Dollar
impress
Dawn.
this year. Dalla Dawn. She finished 6th place. Uh, this is an incredible year for her. She following up her Rookie of the Year last year, showing that it was well deserved. Her amazing third round was rated 1018. This is the highest of her career. She was all over coverage, and this is now the 4th DGPT event in a row where she has cashed, and her 5th cash of the year. She's heading off to Europe for the next leg of the tour, and we are super excited to follow her there. Other friend of the show, Sophia Dunica, she battled hard, but unfortunately finished 3 strokes out of cash. This is still the only DGPT event this year that she has missed cash. So she's also having a fantastic season. She is out at the Smith Lake Farm Disc Golf Camp this weekend, which, again, unfortunately, I had to miss this year. It was so much fun last year. I'm sure they're going to have a blast again. And then she heads off to Europe for the European Open. And man, we will also be following her progress as well. Incredible event. Probably one of the best tournaments of the year so far. Very exciting. And great showings by the Canadians.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to see the Canadians out there and doing well. This was, of course, the tournament that we had Sophia on just before, and then she popped off to have her own podium finish, finishing in third. And perfectly timed for us, as that interview with her got a bunch of views on YouTube because people were wondering who the heck is Sophia Dunica, and they were coming across our videos. So always shout out to Sophia for helping get this podcast off the ground.
They're
And of
not
course,
asking
a
that
big
anymore, that's for sure.
no, no. Um, it's still, I think that video is still our second most viewed episode that we've ever done, and it was a pretty decently early one that we did too. So love that, and of course, big shout out um, to Rebecca. An amazing performance there, and just continuing a really strong season. So looking forward to seeing what she can do over in Europe. And I don't really have much else to add to that. But Shawnee G, I see you added something else in here into the other topics, which
Yeah.
actually I should have added in myself. I should have added this in to talk about, but you came in clutch for us. So let's throw it over to you.
Last weekend was also the U.S. Amateur Disc Golf Championships, which is a PDGA major. This went down at Toboggan in Michigan, and we wanted to give a shout out to the 2 Ontarians in the field. First, friend of the show, James Atkinson, he finished tied for 42nd, and Nate Framps, he finished 68th. This was a massive field, 148 players. There's only one division, MA1. FA1, their championships goes down at USWDGC. And so it is just like so many of the top amateur players are in this event. And we had 2 Canadians, and you did well. Well done. You represented, and congratulations.
Yeah, great job there to the 2 Canadians. James, of course, friend of the show, and Nate, reigning Canadian national champion in MA1. He took it down last year out at Hope Goat, Cedar Creek, and Project 15. I believe he finished in third at provincials as well. He was way out of it and then shot a crazy, like 1050 something rated round to come back and finish on the podium. He had that crazy round at Foxwood that we mentioned in our recap, where he had the hot round of the entire tournament, a 1060 rated neg 14, I think it was. So love to see some Canadians heading down and taking part in these amateur majors, which of course we will see I'm anticipating a solid number of Canadians going over for amateur worlds later this year, which is only in Buffalo, just across the border from us in Ontario. So we should see lots of Canadians out there for that. Shawnee G, I've got really nothing else to add, my friend. So if you want to jump on in here and send us on out of here.
Good luck to all the players out there playing tournaments over the next 2 weeks. If you're out there at Newcastle playing Forefathers, maybe you're at the TD Academy Smash and Dash in Sudbury, or one of the 3 Little Heisers tour stops at St. Julian Haute Goat and out in Aylmer. Maybe you're playing the Waterworks Open or the Lucky Lines Open, or even the first CWE in Paris. I'm going to be out there probably taking some pictures of the players. It's going to be a great time for all those involved. Just a little bit. Keep August 3rd on your calendar open. We're not going to say anything else. You got to lock things down, but just keep that open. But wherever you're playing this weekend and next weekend, I hope you have a great time. On behalf of my friend and co-host Robbie Holden and the always absent Galen Naidu-Harris, I am Shawnee G. This has been episode 63 of the Miss Mando podcast, and we will see you
on the course. I'll get it one time.
Almost.